We're going deaf. We're coming to you live from Bill Ford Tub Studio, 888-808-1019. It's the Boomer and Gio program on a Monday morning without Boomer and without Gio. One's in Italy. Someone else is on some golf course in Wisconsin somewhere. I've got one guy over here with his headsets on volume 35. They only go to 10. I've got two guys that are wearing similar Met shirts. I've got another guy who doesn't know who Roy Smalley is. And the fifth guy of the group thinks the show's going to suck today. Other than that, we are off to a wonderful start. And I've got Joe Benigno with me, who is, let's just say, not going to be a happy man. Joe, how are you?
I'm good, bro. Not too bad.
Not too bad.
I'm not happy with my baseball team the last 2 days, but I mean, overall, playing a lot of golf, working on my tan,
Oh, you're always working on your tan.
Always.
The baseball team, it's funny because you've got I opened one of the shows last week, the 5 to 6 hour, talking about how, maybe it was even Monday, like how it seems like all season long, when the Yankees are up, Mets are down. When the Mets are up, the Yankees are down.
Right,
and then we had like a good weekend. Hey, all right, maybe they're both on the upward trend. And then we come in today, and there's a lot to get to with the Yankees, which we will in a couple of minutes. But the Mets one is aggravating from the standpoint of, I'm not going to sit here and overreact and say they lost a series to a crappy baseball team, the season's over. You can certainly have that opinion, but that would be stupid. However, you go out and you win Friday night, and you kind of set the tone for the weekend. You get the grand slam from J.D. Martinez on Saturday. They take the lead, and then the kid comes in, the new reliever, whatever the hell his name is.
Barbizon. Is he like Barbizon, like the old beauty school or whatever? Right?
And then he gives up to...
Oh, my God.
It felt like a May loss where the offense wasn't great, but they did enough, put them in position to win, and then before you know it, you're down, you don't come back. And then yesterday was they can't hit with guys on base. You get a couple of base hits.
Vientos with that big double play, that was a killer.
Here's what I said last week. Maybe it was in 2 weeks ago. Even at this point, and I know now they're a game and a half out of the wild card race, but it's a game and a half. It's not 10 games. This is what I said last week, and I'm going to continue to say it. I don't know what the hell this team is, Joe. I mean, we're now 100 and something games into the season, and from month to month, week to week, series to series, they look like different teams.
Well, this is a massive road trip. I was very concerned going into this road trip. Not that they're playing great teams, because they're not, but, because it's they're playing 10 games in 10 days. They got to, they're in St. Louis today after they're in Anaheim. Then they got to go back to Colorado, and then they got to go up to Seattle.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a tough trip.
Seattle
let's
just
be
swept the
honest
Phillies,
about it.
too.
Right. The Phillies, really, man, they have been reeling for a while now.
And that's the thing that really sucks too about this is I'm not saying you had to sweep the Angels, but had you done that, which I don't think we would have been stunned sitting here if we came in this morning and the Mets swept this, you would legitimately be talking about the divisions in play. In the first
7
week of
games
August.
behind? Well, the Phillies won yesterday behind Zach Wheeler. By the way, I want to thank the Wilpons again for letting Zach Wheeler walk.
I forgot about that. Point is,
I never forget about it.
You could have made up some ground again to where it would not have been out of the realm of possibility. And instead, you're kind of mired in this crappy weekend from Saturday and Sunday. You got a crappy feeling going to St. Louis for one.
Saturday might have been the worst loss of the year, considering where they were and they got the win. Where they are now. They were back after they win Friday night. They're back to 7 games over 500, which is the high water mark of the year. And then to lose that game like they lost it, like you said, grand slam. They're up 4-2. Peterson could have kept pitching too. By the way,
yeah,
you could have done that. He brings this guy in. I love Mendoza. Let me tell you something. I love Carlos Mendoza. I think he's done a terrific job. I really do. But he brings this guy in, Barbizon, whatever his name is, right? They got from the Marlins. He gets the first 2. He strikes the first 2 guys out of the inning.
2 out, nobody on.
Right. And then all of a sudden, they got 2 guys on. At that point, I'm saying to myself, and you could see Mendoza, he's in the dugout, and he looks a little uneasy. And I'm saying, get this guy out now.
Yeah.
And was there, what's that guy, Zetto, whatever his name is, the shortstop?
Neto, whatever the hell his name is.
He's the guy that hit the 3-run home. Yeah. He's a good player. Bring somebody else in. Get this guy out of there. He had pitched to 4 guys, so it wasn't like it was, he hadn't pitched to 3 guys. Get him out of the inning. That was a killer. That was a really killer loss.
See, you went an extra batter. I thought when he walked the third batter, he 2 out, nobody on. He walks the batter.
Right.
Let's go. We move on.
Right.
You did your job.
Right.
Now get him out.
No, get him out.
Agree.
And I would not have had him pitch to that guy. No.
And I'm with you. I'm not one of these guys. Like I like what Mendoza's done.
Yes.
I don't think he's the greatest manager I've ever seen, but he seems to connect with these guys.
Yeah.
They play for him.
Yeah.
The clubhouse seems like it's in a good place.
Right. Yes.
So I think he's done a really good job. But I thought in that case, a little too long with him in that spot. And to me, just a blown opportunity. It is amazing, though, when you put the game on, you think Angels. I still think Trout and Ohtani, even though Ohtani's in Los Angeles and Trout never stays on the field.
Never.
When you saw the starting lineup on Friday night or Saturday, whatever you watch, if you watched all three, I mean, all right, Neto fine. Hop I remembered, but not exactly top of mind.
I didn't know one guy in the lineup.
Yesterday.
No, Kevin Pillar you did. That was yesterday.
How about the catch he made the other night on
the one on Lindor? That was yesterday.
Mean, he stretches out. No.
Wasn't it yesterday in the first inning? I thought it was.
Was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday in the
Saturday
first
night.
inning. You sure about that?
Yeah, it was Saturday night.
Okay.
Where he stretches out like Superman?
Maybe it was Saturday.
That was ridiculous. So you know Pilar. All right, Ward, I think you know. Adele, okay. LeBlanc, Feast, Stefanik.
I don't know any of these guys.
Chanel. You know Luis Guillorme. You know him when he gets in.
Well, yeah, I know Luis Guillorme, and I know Brandon Drury.
Griffin Canning is the pitcher.
Right.
Well, you might have heard of, but I mean, come on.
Those are the guys. And Pilar. Those are the guys I know on the Angels. That's it.
My. And it was the kids, I think it was Stefanik, too, the second baseman who made the great play. I think that was also Saturday. He makes the great play up the middle. It's just, I don't know, man. You're looking at this team saying, you have to go take 2 of 3. And I know it's not a computer simulation, because if it was, they would have won 2 out of 3. I understand that. And that's why they play the games. But for God's sakes, man, if you think that you are as good as you kept telling us you were, then you got to go out there and prove it. You got to win series after series. And again, not going to get crazy. It's their first series loss in a month or whatever it is. But that just came at a bad time when you've got teams like the Padres and Diamondbacks who aren't losing.
Yeah. Now, look, I mean, and yesterday was terrible, too. You know, they can't hit. They get 3 scoreless innings out of the bullpen. Ottavino, my all-time favorite relief pitcher, you know, he gives you a scoreless inning. Young gives you a scoreless inning. I forget who pitched the Maton. He's been pretty good. Scoreless inning. And they don't score. They can't score a run. You know, like I said, they get first and third, 1 out. Vientos hits into a double play. That was a killer. They also go back a couple innings. When they scored the run to make it 3-2, I think Lindor got the base hit to make it 3-2. They got 2 guys on with a chance again with 2 big hitters coming up, JD and Alonso, and they both pop out to end the inning.
I'm glad you brought that one up.
Both of them.
I have been. Listen, I've sat here all season long and said.
Can I have coffee on TV, by the way?
Go ahead. I have sat here all season long and said, and even into the offseason, you know, they tried to extend Alonso. He didn't take their offer. I was not in favor of trading him at all.
Right.
I think you let it play out.
I don't want to mess the team up. No.
I think you let it play out.
Right.
And listen, if some team gives him a fortune. Joe, he's not been good. I know he hit the home run Friday night.
He's not had a good year. I couldn't agree with you more.
Aaron Judge on a contract year hits 1,000 home runs
62.
And single-handedly takes his team, you know, to wherever they went. Yeah, they made the playoffs that year. They bowed out quickly, but it was because of him. He was a reason you watched that team every night. Pete Alonso's got the same opportunity, and I know the power numbers don't look bad, but if you're watching this team, he does nothing.
This is his worst year. I think it's been the worst year he's had as a Met. I think the contract is weighing on his mind. I don't think there's any question about it. You know, for him, he's only got 23 home runs, bro. This guy hits 40 homers every year.
For sure. And
he had a 50 home a year. He's not hitting 40 this year.
That's what I'm saying. I think you're correct. But I do think at the end of the year, you're going to see 35, 95, which is not a bad season.
No.
But it's not what he's done in the past. And it's also... It's the way he hits the home runs. Again, Friday nights was impactful for sure, but you can think about so many at-bats where he comes up with an opportunity to do damage, to change a game. He's given you next to nothing this year.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I know you love him. I know you want him to be a Met for life. I understand all of that. But what I also know is if I'm the one that's got to write the check off of this year, am I going to outbid myself for Pete Alonso?
Well, a couple things here. First of all, he continues to chase these pitches, 10 feet off the plate. Makes me crazy. I got to tell you, he's been doing that a lot this year. Here's the thing with Alonso. I think the fact, and I don't know if you noticed this, was it the game yesterday? Boros was sitting right there in the dugout seats.
He's there.
Did you see him?
Yeah, he's there.
He was right there.
Yep.
All right. Maybe because he's having an off year, maybe the money goes down. Maybe that helps the Mets keep him. I don't know.
I agree with that.
Okay, but let me say this, okay? If Stevie goes out and gets Soto, okay, because I don't know what's going to – I thought for sure the Yankees were keeping him. I don't know now.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% on that. If he goes out and he signs Juan Soto, he can let Pete walk. That's how I feel.
Yeah, and I don't think you're wrong on that because, he's older at this point, and what he turned down, according to reports, I don't know that I would offer him that again.
Yeah. No, I know.
Like if I told you right now, being honest – If I told you right now the Mets offered Pete Alonso 6 years, 120, what would you say?
6 years, 120.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I'm not talking about 30, 40.
Yeah. That's not too bad, I don't think, right? I mean,
I don't either, but I think he turned down less.
Yeah.
I mean, more rather.
Maybe.
And I think he has really
Sign
hurt
Soto.
himself.
Stevie, I want Soto. Let me just say this. He better be in the running. He better not let anybody outbid him. And when I'm talking about Soto, it's Cohen. That's where I'm at.
Outbid him how much, though?
I don't know. He's got to get $50 million a year, right? Doesn't he? Well, doesn't he?
I guess.
How much he's going to get? He's going to get $50 million.
I guess so,
What's
yeah.
Judge making?
36?
Yeah.
How's
that going to sit with Judge?
That's what I said.
How does it sit with Judge when Hal Steinbrenner comes up to him and say, look, you love Soto, right? You got to keep him. Well, is it okay that he's making like $20 million or more than you?
I said that last week, and you know what everybody peppers me with? Yeah, but you got to look at the age. Nonsense. I look at Judge as the best player I've ever seen.
Best player in baseball.
Who's doing
by
it?
Far.
And we can get
by
to the
far.
Yankees here for a couple of minutes while we're going. You look at yesterday.
Nice shirt there.
And
I didn't know you were a Met fan.
You guys are like brothers.
You're a Met fan? Well, not really. I got orange and I got Lindor.
You're wearing Met shirts.
He's got that. Okay.
You're wearing Met
From
shirts.
that aspect, yeah.
Pretty cool, actually.
Okay.
I'm with Al on this one. I heard in the warm-up show the few minutes I got to hear. He was talking about, the Blue Jays intentionally walking Judge all weekend long,
right.
3 times. Yeah,
well,
there was one I got yesterday.
Couple games.
But not like this, Joe. Come on. Nobody on base. Nobody. And
you
you're
can't
putting
pitch
them
to
on.
him, bro.
Well, then what's the point then?
I'm watching the game the other night. Was it the Friday night game that
Sure.
they lost, right? The Gosby.
He hits the home run, then they walk him.
But I couldn't believe it. Soto hits the double, right? I'm watching the game in the first inning. Soto hits the double, right? And then it's 3-1 to Judge. And I'm saying to myself, just walk him now.
I agree with that.
He grooves a fastball down the middle. Judge hits it
But that's stupidity.
Staten Island.
That's a mistake pitch, and that's stupidity. 3-1, throw him a slider low and away. Maybe he chases. They did strike him out yesterday.
Yeah, okay.
And how about this? Have some balls and pitch to him.
Look, he is emerged now into the Barry Bonds territory.
I agree.
That's
I totally
where he is.
agree. And
There's
doing
no
it the
doubt
right
about
way. To me, he's what I saw out of Bonds. Let's take all the crap out off the table for a second.
I don't care about steroids.
I don't either.
I would have done them too.
I don't. I understand. I got you. And I don't care about it either.
Right.
But there is something to be said for what Judge is doing this way as opposed to the way Bonds did it. That said, what I saw from Bonds, I thought I'd never see again. I never thought I would see it where you feel like any pitch down the middle is going to be hit 500 feet.
You see, he'll see one pitch in an entire game and hit it into McCovey Cove.
And that's, to me, where Judge is right now. When he's on these tears, I understand you can't pitch to him, but there's ways to pitch around him. And especially now, it's not even the it's just like put the 4 fingers up and send him to first base. Like the other night, he hits the home run, then he comes up the second time up with nobody on base, they walk him.
Yeah.
And by the way, the Blue Jays suck.
Yeah, well.
They're a last place team. You're going nowhere. You want to do that in front of your Toronto fans? Go ahead. I mean, the whole thing just rubs me the wrong way. I'm not saying there's not opportunities and reasons to walk him. There are. And there are spots. There was one specific time yesterday I understood walking him. The other two, though, come on. We're intentionally walks in the 3rd inning, 4th inning.
Well, the Mets did it basically, too. I mean, the game when Diekman, he's long gone now, but the game when Diekman struck him out in the 9th inning, they walked him like 3 times before that.
See, I was away.
And I didn't
intentionally?
Intentionally.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They didn't walk him intentionally, but they pitched around him.
Make him chase.
Okay? They pitched around him.
But make him chase.
And I think that's one of the reasons they got him out in the 9th inning. I think he figured they weren't going to pitch to him.
You're making my case, though. That's exactly the point. Maybe you're setting him up for a big at-bat later where you bases loaded, up a run, you can't walk him, and you end up striking him out to win the game. That's the whole idea. If you're just going to put the 4 fingers up, I mean, I don't know. I think for what we're paying to go see games, to me it stinks. The whole thing stinks. And he's been really something. Did you catch
best player in baseball?
Yeah, I agree. I
got to ask you something too. But go ahead, you ask me this, and then I'm gonna throw something out there about Judge, which I did on my Saturday show.
Did you catch at any point, or were you on the Met game? I don't remember exactly. This was probably around when the Met game started, maybe a little before. Did you catch the Blue Jays pitcher after the one of the intentional walks throwing the ball at Boone, and then Boone fires it to the
No, I didn't see that. He threw the ball at Boone.
He wanted a new ball, so instead of giving it to the catcher, he fires it to the Yankee dugout. It goes right to Boone. Boone gets up angrily and fires it to the Blue Jays.
I did not see that.
And then you had in that inning, I think it was the 7th, Boone and the hitting coach. These umpires, 2 terrible calls in a row. Both of them get ejected on back-to-back pitches.
I hate the umpires are terrible. I hate all officials. You know that.
I'm aware.
Umpires, the officials in the NFL. Oh my God, they're all terrible. But I got to throw this at you with Judge. Okay. Judge is now in this area, really rarefied air where he is.
Right. Oh, look at this. This is on CBS Sports Network. They're going to show it.
Well, this is Giancarlo up here now.
Right, but you guys see it.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I see it now. Boone's out there yelling. I see him.
That's pretty fun. Hey, go ahead. On Saturday.
So he's in this rarefied air now. We're starting to talk about him with all the iconic Yankees. Babe, Gehrig, Joe D, Mickey, Jeter, Yogi,
Sure.
all these guys, right? Does he need to win a championship to really solidify
it's different
what he is? But here's why it's not different. Because look at the team he's on.
It is different.
If he was playing for the Angels, I agree. If he's playing for the White Sox, how about that 20 in a row they've lost? If he's playing for a team like that, the Cleveland, whatever their name is anymore, I refuse to say that name.
Well, let me ask you this:
if he's playing for a team like that, okay. Barry Bonds never won a championship. He went to one World Series. So, nobody went crazy about it. But this is the Yankees.
I agree. But let me ask you this, though.
Go ahead. Multiple championships for everybody except Don Mattingly.
Who
by
to
the
me,
way, should be in the Hall of Fame.
100% should be best player in baseball for a 5-year period.
Yep,
I
Hall
agree.
of Famer. No, him and Hernandez should go in together.
More of a Hall of Famer than a lot of guys that are in the Hall of Fame.
Please.
Babe, how many championships would the Yankees have if you go back 100 years and they had 3 rounds of playoffs? Like I don't think it's a fair comparison.
I get that. But I mean, even Jeter won 5. They were. I mean, they had to go through 3 rounds. They did.
I know what you're saying, but those were the '98 Yankees is one of the most historic teams I've ever seen.
I get that.
And I do agree with you that part of why maybe the Yankees haven't won in the postseason has been Aaron Judge having brutal Octobers. Right. I agree with that too.
He hasn't been great in October.
But I also think watching him, we got guys throwing. I mean, the Angels reliever the other night, Ben Joyce, threw 105 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You've got guys throwing harder than ever.
And didn't even come in the game yesterday, and the Mets still couldn't do nothing in the ninth inning.
Right. You've got guys, I don't know this, but my guess is, having looked at stats years after years after years of starters throwing, both ends of doubleheaders, complete games. You got specialty pitchers now. It changes inning to inning.
Yeah.
I think the game is so different that what he's doing is so impressive. I know what you're saying. I don't think you're wrong. I don't necessarily agree with it, though.
Okay. He's an all-time great player. I mean, 99 is certainly going to the retired numbers. He's going to be a shoe-in Hall of Famer. But we are talking about the Yankees here. 27 World Championships.
I get it. And
these
they
guys
haven't won
all
in a
have
long
multiple
time.
championships, every one of them.
I know, but I have to take, when you have championship after championship, when all you had to have was the best record and then go right to the World Series,
right?
That to me does not compare to what it is now.
No.
Now, the Jeter years, okay, fine. But I would also tell you Jeter wasn't the best player on those teams.
Yeah, well.
Judge is the best player on this team.
Yeah. Okay.
A little different, but I understand.
You don't think Jeter was – so who was the best player on the team? Bernie Williams? Paul O'Neill?
I almost look at it as a collection of stars.
They did, right.
As
a lot of guys.
opposed to –
Mariano, I mean, if you want to go to Mariano.
You could make that case. They could close at every game, aside from a handful. The Indian series.
One thing about Mariano.
And the Diamondbacks.
One thing, right, okay.
And the Red Sox. Correct.
Right.
That one, too.
Yeah.
So, all right, we got a lot to do. It is Joe and Jerry in for Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network. We will take a quick break, get right back.